Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Teckno Tuesday. My name is Kendrick Bender. I'm along with...
You're along with?
I'm along with...
Bill, the Tasmanian Devil.
Kevin Most.
AJ Savopoulos.
So, Phil, you're a Tasmanian devil today, not a wombat.
That's correct, but they're still Australian, so it's okay.
And when are you going to be a kangaroo?
When I grow a tail.
Alrighty, then.
So, my first question today is it getting any cooler to be a nerd? Because when I was a kid, man, if you were a nerd, you were basically the lowest of the food chain. No one wanted to know anything about you at all. Is it any cooler?
Roles have definitely reversed.
You think they've reversed?
I think they've completely reversed. Today, it's everyone wants to be a nerd, almost, in some sort of way.
Or a zombie.
Yeah.
Either a nerd or a zombie. Yeah,
or a zombie
I agree.
fighter.
Or a zombie fighter, yes.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think it's like 100% flipped of what it used to be. It used to be like you were made fun of for being a nerd, and now it's
Depends
like...
if you have common sense or not.
It's true. If you're a nerd without any common sense, then you still get made fun of probably just as bad. But if you have common sense, I don't think you get made fun of quite as much.
There's nerds and there's nerd wannabes.
Oh, I see. So you actually have to be a nerd, just not defective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wannabe nerds. Oh, no. See,
They're like
They just-
posers.
they'll talk about stuff that they don't actually know about. And
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
so, in FTC things, I was reading the FAQ, and wheel hubs are now legal. So, you were always able to buy custom wheels as long as they weren't any larger than 4 inches. But now, but you weren't able to buy the wheel hubs to go with them because they were considered a custom part.
Commercial off the shelf.
Yeah, commercial off the shelf. COTS.
Yeah.
But they changed that rule. They clarified it now. So now they're allowing you to buy the hubs required to mount the wheels as well.
Because it's
So
a little
those are
silly.
the-
It's like saying you can buy the food, but you can't eat it. You know, it's,
Well, I mean, they could make their own custom
You could print it.
mounts.
we had to, but then, like,
But now they're
Yeah.
it's kind of pointless.
saying you can buy any of the hubs you need. Another weird one that a lot of people were asking about on the forums: cable carriers.
But that's always been cable carriers.
It's always been legal.
Yeah.
There was not really any sort of confusion as to whether it was legal or not. It was just a question that was asked a lot on the forums by a lot of people.
So, on the topic of wheels and wheel hubs now, I guess one of the key points there is that Andymark.biz, who is, major first supplier, has a cool selection of traction wheels. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. You can get 4-inch traction wheels that are either, like a opposing plastic tread deal or a couple of different flavors of rubber traction material for the... Not so much a tire. I mean, it's a plastic wheel, but with a traction tread on it that FRC's been using for years and years. So I predict the big problem now is going to be everyone's going to get these high traction wheels, first discover that you can't use them in skid steer robot designs because you don't have enough torque to move them sideways, and then they'll find out the next thing is that when they ram up against their buddies or the sidewall, they're going to be smoking their motors because the wheels aren't going to slip.
Yeah, there'll be a lot more burning motors.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you have infinite traction that you have infinite torque to go with it. But yeah, that's good though because we're going to check out some of the traction wheels. We did a little experiment. We went down and got some of the FRC wheels and compared their traction on the field with the standard FTC wheels, and there's a considerable range of improved traction from not bad improvement to crazy improvement.
But you also got to have a balance there
Yes.
between smoking your motors and having enough traction to push other things without hurting
Yes.
your robot or other
Yeah.
things.
Ultimately, you want it so that if you're up against the wall and you're pushing at full power, you want your wheels to spin. You don't want them to grip the floor.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have to come into some sort of software to counteract
Oh,
that.
Lord.
So it's like if you're trying to apply 100% power, but you're not moving anywhere, your encoders aren't working.
Don't try to ramp it
Wow,
up.
that
Then
could
you're
be a
just
really
like,
cool project. That could be a really cool project. You could probably sell that as, a candidate for the design award, anti-smoke traction system.
All 30 of you viewers out there,
That's right.
don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. So, I saw a really great video today about these little self-assembling robots. There's been a lot of stuff done with little cube robots that can, attach, and they have servos and they attach and stuff like that. But these ones are really neat. They're called H blocks, so H blocks?
sounds
M
familiar.
blocks. M blocks. And they're little cubes, but they have magnetic attachments all around them on the faces and on the corners. But they have a a brushless DC motor on the inside, and they use that to generate torque. So they spin the motor up and they break it. And what that does then is it makes the block twist. And so there's no mechanical attachments between these things. So if you watch the video, there's half a dozen blocks, and they just start attaching themselves. Like one jumps over to the next one, and the next one jumps on top of that, and it's like, oh, how are they doing that? But it's pretty neat. MIT, it's an MIT robotics project. It's pretty neat.
Sounds really
M blocks, yes.
M blocks.
M-blocks. Check it out. I actually put a link on here, so you could maybe put a link on the comments of the YouTube.
We can also possibly put just a little image up
That'd be
during
cool.
the video right now as well.
Oh,
So you'll
there it
know
is.
what
I
we're
see it.
talking about.
Check it out. Oh, wait. Let me touch it. Oh, no. Sorry, I can't.
And now it's fading away.
It's fading away.
Bye. So AJ, you have here on our little subject list the Volvo battery panels.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not really sure how it works. I've been trying to figure it out, and it's interesting. But what it is the body panels can now be used as the battery, so you don't have to tote around a big battery on top of your body panels. So now you have a car without a battery, and it's a fully electric car.
Some more trunk space.
More trunk space. And it's kind of interesting, but I'm kind of wondering how it works.
Well, it says here in the link here, Volvo develops battery-infused carbon fiber body panels. That says it all, doesn't it?
It does, but it doesn't. How does it?
Battery-infused carbon fiber.
Battery-infused carbon
Carbon
fiber
fiber.
body
If I read
panels.
correctly on their website, it is carbon on one side, a layer of carbon, then there's a layer of fiberglass between that sheet of carbon, and then there's another sheet of carbon. So it's carbon, fiberglass, carbon.
So I guess the material that the glass is infused with must be some kind of dielectric or some kind of
Well, I
chemical
think
storage.
the fiberglass is an insulator
It's an
between
insulator.
two different battery. Like one sheet of the carbon is like the negative terminal on the battery,
And the other one's
and
the
the other
positive.
one is the
Right, but they can't be insulated. They need some dielectric, some material between them to actually store the power. I mean, it's not like a big capacitor. 'cause
Yeah, I
just
doubt
wouldn't
it's
be
just fiberglass. I have a feeling there's something in there that they had, but they just don't want to say what it is.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. I still worry about a side impact, though. That's what I worry
Yeah.
about. Oh, I just shorted out my door. Oh, look, my window's going up in flames.
That's what I was wondering about. Was
I guess it could be low density energy. Or maybe it's really short lived. So maybe it's just for, storing regenerative dynamic braking energy for a few seconds or something. Who knows?
something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Not really.
There's a lot of
sure.
possibilities on this, though. If they do fix the problem as of what we're thinking of, if you get in a wreck, it could be worse than a hybrid car with their wires going everywhere.
Or a hydrogen car
Yeah.
with the hydrogen going everywhere.
So I saw in the news the other day, the New York Hall of Science, they were looking for a new Mars rover, and the interesting thing is where they found one. Apparently, a couple of sisters, being 11 and 13, actually built a replica of the Mars rover themselves.
Wow.
And they made a website about it, about their project, and the New York Hall of Science found their website. They liked the rover, and so now they're going to be putting it on display there at the New York Hall of Science.
Wow. That's cool.
Speaking of New York, Macy's parade this year is going to have some FRC robots leading the parade.
Really?
Yeah, doing various things like cutting the ribbon, and I don't think they're shooting any frisbees. But so that's pretty cool. So you get a little bit more exposure for STEM. Let me hear it together, guys. STEM. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm wearing my
That
same
fell
shirt.
through.
That fell through. It did. Okay, I have another topic here. Kickstarter for fun and profit. Hopefully everyone knows what Kickstarter is.
I really like Kickstarter personally.
Kickstarter is it's the new buzzword is cloud funding or cloud funding, meaning you get money from generic people out in the cloud. You don't know who they are, they don't know who you are, but it's a way to get money. And there's different ways. There's actually about 6 or 7 websites, but Kickstarter, it's very cool because you can come up with an idea, you create a video, you present this video, and then you have levels of pledges that people can pledge a certain amount of money to get something. Sometimes it's a smile, sometimes it's an actual component. And it enables you to then reach critical mass. So no one pays any money until you've actually reached your target you set. And then once you reach the target, everyone pays. It's collected automatically, which means that you could have a cool idea, but you can't afford to make it because you need to get an injection molded part made, and you maybe need to do 2,000 of those to make it economical. So that's where you set your target. I think everyone out there should be thinking about what cool idea they can turn into a Kickstarter.
There are a lot of cool ideas on Kickstarters, different board games, and all sorts of
One of the
innovative cool things.
Cool things that I've seen that started out on Kickstarter is the Pebble Watch. Actually,
Pebble
one of our
Watch.
friends
Oh,
has
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
what it
yeah.
is, it's a watch that hooks up to your iPhone or Android phone. It
Ah,
receives text messages,
right,
controls it, and
right.
gets all kinds of different notifications. It is really impressive.
And then the most famous Kickstarter project was the Ouya console, which reached its goal within 24 hours, and it's a open source Linux based gaming console.
I'm not sure that that's particularly the most famous, but it's probably pretty good.
It was one of the ones that broke through the barrier of just how big can a Kickstarter project go.
Right.
I'm sure there's probably been a few others that were bigger after that, but that was really one that.
I saw one today that I thought was really cool. It's these teaspoons for stirring your coffee or whatever with, and it's carved out like a skull, so it's like it's coffee on the dark side. But I mean, it's like someone's got this cool idea for making a cool spoon with a design not carved into it, but it's actually hollowed out. So if you hold it up, it looks like a skull. It's like, wow, what other designs could we do on a spoon? I don't
Something
know.
I saw that Phil might like is the oscilloscope watch.
Ooh, oh, I think I've seen that. Yes,
Really cool. And right now it's in
Yeah.
the 3D printed stage with the frame, but it's actually the same size as an actual watch. Does everything like that except for
I've seen it. Yes.
their one problem is they can't figure out how to carry the probes.
Yeah.
They can't decide whether to put them as the wristband
Ah.
or something else. They can't figure it out.
Yeah, I think it was like a oscilloscope and a signal generator.
Yeah.
I think it was both. So look, this one guy's just clicking these two buttons. Now I'm going to put it into this mode. Now that mode, and now we're going to go to time. And now it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. The probes would be the tough thing.
hmm
Then there was that magnetic pen. That was a pretty cool one. as well.
I hated the magnetic pen.
What about the 3D printing pen?
The 3D doodler.
That thing
The
is
3D
cool.
doodler. Yes, that is very cool. That would be one of the monster Kickstarter projects.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I've been looking at. I've really wanted, but I'm no good at art, so it wouldn't really do me any good.
Speaking of 3D printing,
Oh man, what a good segue that was.
man, it's like we.
What
planned
are the
that.
benefits of having a 3D printer in your robotics team?
Oh, if you need exact angles for stuff like with different IR beacons and whatnot, you can print at exact angles if you have Inventor anyway, or something else that is CAD based.
Yeah, we printed our own infrared beacon or infrared sensor mounts for the past 2 years. We printed those.
Also, it's pretty cool to have a mini version of your robot 3D printed, just so it's cool for people to look at it and be like, "Ooh, that's really cool. How intricate it is."
Kevin's done a lot of 3D printing.
Yes, I have. I printed an NXT mount that holds the NXT, and I printed that IR beacon holder, well, IR sensor holder.
And you made a claw for the mate robot.
Yes, that too. It used
Two
two
of them.
solenoids, yeah. Well, several claw designs.
And that's really the beauty of it. I mean, it's rapid. It's called rapid prototyping for a reason. I mean, you can make a prototype, and you can look at it and go, "Yeah, I don't like this angle that much," and say, "Well, let's just change the angle and do another one." It's not like you have to reproduce the whole process of cutting and bending and screwing and bolting and all that sort of stuff.
The only thing that's not too fun is how long it takes, because you're like, put it in the printer, and then it's like 7 hours. I don't want
Yes.
to wait around.
It's all about planning. You want to plan to
Yeah.
come up with the idea right when you're ready to leave for the evening, so you can put it on overnight and be there the next day. It will be good when you don't need to, like we have access to a couple of the fuse deposition modeling material ones, which squirted out the material, but the base material, the support has to be dissolved, so sometimes that takes a while. It'd be nice not to have that issue. We had a group here the other day that they have a low-cost one, and they've been printing out parts. We have access to a fairly high-end one, but even just the low-cost ones are pretty cool. What I like about it as a mentor is it encourages you guys to learn the CAD to actually make parts. Up until then, CAD was usually used to document what we'd built. So it was okay. Some teams may use it to design stuff, but if you can't actually use the design file and produce the part, it's a nominal benefit. But when you know that you're going to design that part and then actually print it, then now you're learning about shapes, dimensions, tolerances, what works, what doesn't work in the real world, and you're actually getting to use it rather than just showing what you did. So that's what I like about it.
It's also a lot more exact than making it out of polycarbonate or ABS and stuff like that.
Trying to mold it by hand.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to do heat curving and stuff like that.
There's
yeah.
not too many parts you can come across that you can't print.
That's right. Sometimes you have to be clever. You have to, like we had the ring gripper
Yeah.
that needed to be printed in multiple parts so that the fingers could be printed in one direction and the body could be printed in another direction. Because it's kind of like a wood material. It has a grain. So if you have it working thin parts going in all directions, one of them are going to be fragile. So we actually made it so we combined it and then glued it together as a single part.
And then you could just change the finger design and
That's
print
right.
out a whole bunch more.
Exactly right.
All right. Well, that's all we have time for today.
So it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from him.
And me.
And I guess Kevin too.
Goodbye from all of us here at Teckno Tuesday.
Teckno Tuesday.
Thank you all for watching. Have a nice day.